guessing that's about right. Hello. This is somewhere entirely different.
Well, I wonder where we could be.
We were supposed to be at Little Rock today. I spoke to Ailey and Chris. Thank you. I spoke to Ailey and Chris yesterday. Said no, it might be nice just to do it where we can do a little bit in a public environment with the backdrop and stuff. And they said no, it's fine. It's been very quiet over the last few Sundays. Went down today, and there's people queuing out the door. So we're back in the kitchen. So you'll just have to excuse the mess that we've rather hastily.
I was so looking forward to my New Yorker as well. I went early thinking I'm going to have a New Yorker while I'm doing this. So,
rather hastily had to get stuff sorted at the house here. So anyway,
but big thank you to Liz at the Co-op, because I've just eaten one of the hot cross buns.
Yeah, actually, I paid for those myself.
Oh.
So it's a thank you to me.
Thank you to. Oh right, okay.
I
might have to eat another one quite soon.
Liz did offer today, but I said no, we're elsewhere. So, but thanks very much for Ailey and Chris for offering today. We will make use of your premises a bit later on when you have a quiet day. Hopefully you don't. And the last thing I think we wanted to do is take business away from anybody today, because we're all feeling it already.
Just a bit. There's a big lot of anxiety. A lot of people worried.
We haven't really hit the peak yet. But anyway, so we're going to go straight into sort of the COVID-19 stuff, Aaron-related stuff. But one thing I wanted to say, and this is something I passed on to Heather during the week. I watched Stephen Colbert on The Late Show in New York, and he's obviously one of the big New York late night hosts on the TV, and he had a show last week. I think it was either Thursday or Friday, and he was told he couldn't have an audience because even on late shows on TV, all the late shows
and it was at the last minute, they were all ready to go.
They were all ready to go, no audience. So he says, well, we'll do a rehearsal and then we'll do the real thing. And the nice thing about the show, and it's one of those really warm, feel-good factors, is that halfway through the rehearsal, he just decided this was the one they were going to use. And it all shows things off camera, shows the directors, the chatting with the pianist, he's drinking bourbon under the table. It's really funny. So if you want to see his take on it, he's great at denouncing Donald Trump as well. So it's got a nice sort of feel-good buzz for it. And I think anything that we can do to give you a feel-good factor would be quite nice today. We've got a few bits and pieces coming up. I know we've got to be a little bit careful with humour.
I know. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. I mean, Les and I were talking whether it's illness or anything, and we deal with it through humour. There's a lot of things happen if you're worried about them, but
yes,
you've got to still try and stay positive. And
yep. No, absolutely. So the graph that came up on the news and has been up on the news a lot this week, this one about flattening the curve. I'm sure you've seen this. I put these dots on because nobody did this, and I felt this was maybe. I think we are one of the blue dots that we haven't actually gone anywhere near the peak of this yet, which is I think what the experts agree with. And I think on the other side of the dots, the green dots is where China and South Korea are. South Korea was on. You were watching the Andrew Marr show, I think, this morning. Mm-hmm. There was a very lovely lady from South Korea chatting away about what was happening out there, and they seem to have nipped this in the bud quite well. Whether we're going to do that or not is
there's a lot of, I feel there's a lot of misinformation out there too, and people are panicking because they're hearing different things from different sources. So I would always say double check whatever you're reading, just make sure it's true, because there's about 4 or 5 different reports come out this morning and what the government are going to do in the next couple of weeks, and they're all quite different. You know, some are radical,
well,
some are not.
That actually moves on to what Matt Hancock was saying, the health secretary, and this is going to affect Aaron's percentages quite highly, isn't it? Because we've got such an elderly population here. I don't know whether you want to read any of that out or whether people know about it already. It's on the BBC News regarding anyone over 70 being isolated. Do you feel?
Well,
I mean, it's
there is this thing in the BBC.
What will you do? First bit of humour.
Okay, good grief. Well, it's not just that; it's anyone over 60 that has health issues. They're talking and including that.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend that's down south, and I don't know whether she watches. She does watch, I think. who had a double transplant a good few years ago, and she's been told, no way, you're just staying at home. It's way too risky for you. So, hello, Mark, by the way. Yeah, anybody that's got issues here, and of course there's an elderly population here, so it's quite a...
I know some people. The other thing is, there's a lot of businesses in a lot of places, like the nursing home Currydin in Whiting Bay, I think, announced this morning. Obviously they're being much stricter in who can come in and out the building. People are doing that even before the government are putting this into force. Yeah. They're being sensible about it. They're thinking, better be safe than sorry. So we'll put these measures in now. Which makes a lot of sense. But I'm wondering, is it going to be like a curfew? Will you go out and have to carry an ID and say, well, I'm over 70, but I'm just going down to the pub for a pint?
Is it going to be enforced, or are we going to see lots of elderly people walking around with extra makeup? just to go
back to carrying ID. I'm not really sure how that's going to work.
But as I had sort of read that article from the news this morning, and I said, well, maybe that if the kids go off school, there's maybe an opportunity for kids to help out and do some deliveries for, it doesn't necessarily have to be the co-op, because obviously they do their own deliveries, but if someone's wanting, I don't know, it could be anything.
Some of the small, big stores in Whiting Bay have said that they're going to help out. And even if you want to take the card down, if you phone your order in and take the card down, you don't have to get out the car if they're expecting you. They'll just put the groceries in your boot. So that in itself is a really good thing.
Yeah. But just as I was thinking, who would we get involved in that? I got a very big email, and this only came through about an hour ago, which is why we've got so much paperwork today as well.
I know.
This is from Vicky Ewell at the ACVS, and I'm going to read it out, all of it. I promised I would, but it's important to anybody really, especially if you are going to be, if this enforcement's coming in. And it says ACVS have been in contact with several other community groups and are developing a central point for coordination of a bank of volunteers and support requests to assist with any tasks which arise due to people needing to self-isolate. The details will be widely shared once they are finalised, as we will liaise with health and social care services to ensure that all volunteers have the correct guidance to protect themselves, and also to enable us to coordinate targeted support of what is most required. Therefore, on this occasion, we will only recruit those in the lower risk categories. This will be explained to individuals as they make contact via phone. Potential support could range from shopping delivery, although the co-op is obviously doing some of that already, but also supporting small retailers and the island economy. To a chat on the phone with someone who may be lonely or just need assistance. We've already had lots of Facebook messages, and that's great if you want to leave a contact number and someone will call. However, our line will be open from 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, it's Monday morning. For volunteer registration, it's preferable people don't come in. We ask that people be patient whilst a full plan put in place to safeguard everyone and help those affected. I'd be grateful if you could share this message today, and that's what I'm doing. Additionally, the lunch clubs, umbrella group, and intergenerational projects we support have all been suspended until further notice. Vicky was then adamant that I mentioned that they have lots of awesome volunteers already and who do amazing work, which we all know about. And their number is on the screen. So if you want to put your name forward as a volunteer, make sure you are, in the group that isn't going to get, taken out of this.
It might be worth saying too that there are a lot of people not on Facebook. Yeah. So if you know anyone that might not use Facebook, then maybe let them know about this.
Well, I'm sure that's going to be in the banner. If it isn't, I don't think it is in this week. But as I say, it came through about an hour ago, and I said to her that I would read it out. So that's one source of potential help that we've got for those people who may not have relatives that can easily drop round or
I think too, a phone call. I mean, maybe just if you know anyone that's likely to be worried about it, or just a wee phone call to make sure they're okay. I mean, this island has always been fabulous. I'm so proud of this island. When anything happens, people really do look out for each other.
And this one is kind of this is standing out there as being the potential to beat everything else, isn't it? This one. Mark's saying the nursing home group I work for We're still insisting on being open to visitors last week. This may change from, it actually goes on to say this may change from tomorrow. It makes sense. Yeah, I mean, this is another thing. What are the nursing homes going to do? You know.
Well, there's a lot of things I think over the next couple of weeks going to change. We don't know exactly what until it happens.
No,
they're saying this could happen or that could happen.
Yep.
So it's speculation in a lot of it.
Yep. Senya's joining us from the ferry queue. The ferry is going, for those of you who are wondering why, especially Mark Bunyan.
Oh, wonderful.
It's going 4:40. We hadn't had a ferry since...
I do not. I think Carmack are doing really well at self-isolating.
I haven't been off the island since December, so I'm...
Well, I was off on Monday and I did get back on Tuesday. I was the last car.
I'm so used to seeing it there that
last car on. I was very relieved on that one.
Yeah.
I managed to get on.
Hello, Mick from Ardrossan as well.
I have to say quickly to Senya, and she's messaged us that you need to come round. I now have, and I know this has got nothing to do with anything, but I'm going to mention it. I have frog spawn in my pond this morning.
I have never seen a woman get so excited about frog spawn before.
Oh, I was really upset because everyone else has it in their pond and I didn't have any. And then this morning I went out and there it was, a lovely big lump of frog spawn.
Well, we're all very, very relieved to hear that, I'm sure.
Yes. There will be photographs over the next wee while, you know, of the different stages of my wee froggies developing.
Yeah, I think that's probably enough about the frog spawn.
Okay.
Sorry. The first event on Arran has been cancelled. The Veg Fest was cancelled. We actually mentioned it online. We heard from Jules last week. So that one has been cancelled. More to do with ferries, I think, at the time.
They did have a stall for the stuff in the co-op
Yeah,
as well. They're still active.
I have mentioned that. In fact, I'm going to repeat all that in a minute anyway, because I've actually mentioned the co-op did actually do some stuff for them from yesterday. So that has happened. We've got a few more bits in that news. Other than that, Banner's covering a few issues that you'd expect them to do at the moment. We're going to go over them a little bit later. So Lucy Wallace is in the Banner again. That's good. She climbs up mountains and does stuff that nobody else would want to do.
Is she in the mountain rescue?
She's in everything. Anything to do with the mountain, she is. And the co-op are pitching for the different companies are pitching for their cash dividend at the co-op as well. So we've got a bit to do with the Banner. If you're wondering where our guest is this week, we haven't got one. Basically, we had one booked, but we're hoping that we can reschedule that. Obviously, it's going to be like this, I think, for the next few weeks. So we're just going to be doing what we can. So, hello from Chattanooga. On holiday with family, from Tony Mackenzie. Not sure how or when we will be able to get home. Waiting to hear about our flights back to the UK. Hope you're all keeping safe. I would stay.
Yeah.
You can't obviously fly to America at the moment, which came about last night. So. One
thing I would ask, this thing in the Banner for the 91st Arden Music Festival, which is coming up, and I'm wondering if that's still going ahead. I haven't heard anything.
If anybody
watching, knows...
if anybody's watching and connected with that, it would be nice to know what's going on there. As I say, Springfest, I think we're still doing, and we're gonna liven you up, and I'll give you a little bit of I don't know. We'll just give you a little bit of nice fluffy stuff in a minute to do with Springfest. David Copperweek was going to do his run round Arran. That's now on the 28th. I think it was the 21st. I think. John, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong.
Are there other people running with him? Do you know?
No, I think it's just him.
He's just doing it on his own?
Yeah, he's self-isolating on a run.
Self-isolating on a run.
The weather this week, we've had one nice day again, didn't we? Oh, I've got to stop touching my nose.
There's lovely bits of weather in between.
There is lovely. It was sunny for at least 4 minutes when we were setting up, so it's been good. But it's been very showery as well. So
as long as it doesn't freeze.
No.
Because then my wee froggies could get...
We're going to keep going back to this, you can tell.
So happy.
Right, what we've got is... I don't know how long we're going to get away with doing satire at the moment. So we're going to do a little bit of...
Why are they going to regulate that? Or?
So if you could read out the news, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the satire infusion version of the news, just to give you a little bit of hopefully a little bit of a laugh, but we'll see.
Okay, so we have ship repairs to the ailing Caledonian Isles will now take much less time, which is good news than first feared. Following the news that the fabrication of new parts is not required, as existing parts have been sourced. Repairs are expected to be completed by the 19th of March, so that's a lot sooner than we thought. So, yeah, where did they get them?
Islanders were overcome with emotion this week as CalMac staff in Gourock said they had sourced some spare parts for their ships simply by popping into neighbouring shop Ferry Parts R Us. The excited directors say they will not expect any more pocket money for 6 weeks and they will tidy their rooms.
You'll get that.
I'm gonna get banned from the boat. I don't know if anyone's ever been banned. Right, off we get now. There's another bit you wanted to talk about, and we have some.
Oh, social. Well, there's so many new terms. You know, it's fantastic. There's all these new terms coming out that last year or even a couple of months ago you would never have used, but now we're talking on social distancing. I'm not sure how far that is. Does it just mean we've got to have, it's 3 feet apart, or is it just trying to do like? I mean, David Copperwheat's now doing his run on his own.
Yeah. I think it's 6 feet from.
Oh, we're too close.
Well, let me.
Does this virus jump?
Let me give you an example. A Corrie man has this week demonstrated the art of social distancing in public. His 12-foot wide rigid cardboard frou-frou keeps him away from people, but he hadn't anticipated last week's high winds. He was last seen by Prestwick Air Traffic Control. Meanwhile, school children at Arran High misread the phrase social distancing and have opted out of all PE lessons in the fear that they are doing the gay Gordons. So it's... Yeah, it's one word that when I mentioned it to somebody, they went, social dancing. I went, no, social distancing. And
do they still do social dancing at school?
Thank God.
Do they still do?
Well, yeah, they were very relieved here on Friday night when there was about 8 of them in here, and I was talking about social distancing.
But that's a really good thing to do. I mean, that's when you learn all the traditional dances. They're great. Do you not like? No.
I think the kids I don't know. Some kids love it, and some kids absolutely hate it. And
that's just because you've got to partner up with someone that you maybe don't want to partner up with.
Those kids will go on in life never dancing, a bit like I did.
But that's so sad.
No, it's not.
Oh, it is.
No, guys don't dance well unless they're,
But you need guys for Strip the Willow and different dances like that, which would be a lot of fun.
I wouldn't know what Strip the Willow is. And that now this leads on to another phrase, which is obviously something that we're covering a lot of.
Self-isolating.
Self-isolating has come out, and of course we're busy with that. Okay, well, according to experts, anyone wanting to know how to self-isolate should ask Arran teenagers. Local teenagers rarely go outside and suitably equipped with games console, Coca-Cola, and Jaffa cakes. They are experts at staying away from anyone. That's everything. That's all the teenagers do around here, apart from Friday nights when they do sort of gather en masse, but either behind the small co-op or down at the bus station at 6 minutes past 9 when all the buses go. But my son is very, very good at. He's brilliant.
Self-isolating.
He's brilliant at it. He's doing it right now. He's great.
Has he got a mini fridge in his room yet?
No, he asked for one actually, but he's not getting it. No, that's not going to happen. Now, we do have something in the banner that was covered, and it's on your next page, and you pointed this out to me this week about what they've done up at Cross House.
Oh, yes. I understand why they're doing this, because for people being tested to see if they have the virus, they were going to Cross House, and rather than get out of the car, you could drive up, and there were people there with masks on, obviously, that could swab your mouth and your nose and just check you, and there was no contact. So it did make a lot of sense until I saw the photograph.
Yeah, and you showed it to me, and if you show that to anybody that that recognises that particular pattern, it lends itself to. It lends itself to the barrier designers of the Crosshouse testing area have now installed further testing facilities at Silverstone, Knockhill, and the now empty toilet roll warehouse of Brayhead Sainsbury's. They've used.
Do you think they would leave them when this is all by and we could?
We could make a little Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah,
out of
that'd be a great
And that is
idea.
go-kart. That's what they use to make go-kart circuits with.
So I thought at first, when I first glanced at it, it looked like wee wheelie bins, and then I thought, no, they're actual.
Yeah, no,
They're designed for that. It's like
they're-
Lego barriers.
Yeah, all right, they're slightly different, but the colour's the same. If you saw that from a distance, you'd think you were going to get some go-karts out and go around the track. It's pretty good. So I was getting all excited when I saw that. I thought, I'll pop down to Crosshouse, because I've got to go down to Crosshouse at some point. So my doctor says. But I've told him I'm not going for months.
I'd imagine now there'll be a queue of cars, though. So you don't really get to go around it very fast.
Cams is watching. Hello, Cams, from the 6 o'clock sailing. Oh, you're still hoping to get on it? Well, I hope you do get
Fingers
on it.
crossed, Cams.
Yes, it could be.
It's always so nerve-wracking. Yeah, I don't mind. You get stuck in this
Well,
side.
you were stuck.
I was stuck on Tuesday.
For about 6 hours, I think, wasn't it?
Well, that was because we got into we were booked, but then the ferry wasn't sailing in our booking, so they won't change your booking. So we had to wait, and we were in the first in the queue, and I wasn't moving the car. So you're stuck there. You can't really do anything else.
That's the worst thing. You can't nip out and go to the co-op or up to Cecchini's or whatever, unless you need to walk, which is a bit tricky for you guys. But
but it was quite. I had my book, so I was quite happy. But I mean, Les was fidgeting away. He can't use.
No, it is bad when you can't get back out of the.
It's stressful too, because you really don't know if it's going to sail for sure, if you're going to have to book somewhere, in which case an entire ferry queue are all going to go and try and find somewhere to stay. So it's always a bit nerve-wracking when you do that.
Yep. But they look like they're going to get fixed for about the 18th, I think it is, this month, this week sometime. So I know it's the 18th because it's the day my American Express has got to get paid. Anyway, that's by the by.
So, at Easter, are we getting the other boat on? Are we going to get another boat?
I don't think it's due at Easter, though, is it?
No, it's usually after Easter.
Oh, I don't know. I hope they do something, because we need something to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go back into, we've got quite a lot to cover this week in as far as news is concerned, and just chat that we've both had around the island, just to see what people are up to. Yesterday I spoke to Linda, who runs Ochrani Resort, and she says some cancellations are coming in. Obviously at the moment, and this was yesterday, mostly from elderly people, but the numbers of current people on site are still quite acceptable. I think she said there was about 300 guests on site, so it's good that they're holding up at the moment. But there's been quite a lot of worry, obviously, in the catering industry.
But even small venues, I mean, there was a house concert planned for Tuesday that's been cancelled.
Barb's who was on doing her donuts with us, wasn't she? Not donuts, what were they?
Bagels.
Oh, they've all got holes in. What's the difference?
Well, don't mention doing them straight. That's just not an option. They've got to be round.
So I've just realised I've still got the picture of the thing set up. Sticking my fingers up at the camera all the time. So Barb's cancelled. I think a lot of these smaller events will just automatically.
There's a few already been cancelled. Some of the
it's the
smaller
big ones.
ones.
It's whether you go ahead, whether you don't go ahead. If you're going to get more than 500 people and you need ambulance and police staff there or whatever. So
it's really hard already for. There's obviously quite a few musicians I know, and this is their income, and all the bookings are just being cancelled. En masse. So it's what do they do now? I quite like the video. I'd noticed there was a thing on Facebook in Italy.
Sorry, Yvonne. We're just so busy chatting. We left the slide on. So
the Italians were all on their balconies singing and playing. That was wonderful.
Well, that's what the world needs at the moment. It needs that kind of. I think it was Anthony Butterworth, my friend from Kilmichael, that showed me that as well. And it's really, really nice that you can get through these horrible times with a little bit of humour and a bit of camaraderie and everything else.
I thought that was magical.
I think we've yet to experience that here, and I think it will happen. But in what way or shape or form it takes, I don't know.
I think it will. It will somehow. This is an incredible island.
It's an opportunity just to show how good our community can be, I think, and we've got to look at it on that sort of positive side. Because I'm a positive kind of guy.
Of course you are.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of comments coming up in a minute, I can tell you. But this week I wasn't very positive. I wasn't actually very well earlier on in the week. It wasn't anything to do with COVID. And by about Wednesday night, Thursday, I was fine. And I did actually have a delivery to make down to Balmickle. And it just so happened that I arrived the day after these guys arrived. And I'm going to show you a video now that we did really spontaneously. Emma was great. She came over. I said, "Listen, I'll just do you a quick video." And she says, "Well, the one thing we're really worried about is not being able to host the Springfest. So that obviously we don't know what's going to happen yet still. But the alpacas are here, and
Have they all got names?
Well, you'll find out what's going on in the video. So I'm going to show you the video. It lasts for about 45 seconds. They've got such soft noses.
And a couple are nearly 3, the bigger ones. We're just deciding names, but there will be a competition to win an alpaca trek if you name an alpaca. So I think, do I see this little one here is going to be the one that will go in the competition to be named.
So what are you doing with these when you're putting them out in the paddock? Are you doing walks around the paddock with them, or are you just having them as a sort of...
Yeah, there will be... Mostly it's come in, you feed them, they're haltered up and they go for...
Chew my finger.
So they're just getting trained into their halters and then they get trained into... That goes over your nose, doesn't it?
Oh, they're absolutely stunning.
Cute, so really lovely shoes. But yeah, we've also got people interested in alpaca parties for children, family for younger sessions.
Parties. Get that bit of grass out your
You can also do nursery and school group sessions because we've got the park and we've got activities we can do, scavenger hunts. And they only just came over last night on the ferry, so they're doing really well.
They've done fantastic.
They're loving their new home and they're already coming up to us, so that's them really settling in, seem quite happy. Oh, this wee noise is a wee bit shy. He's yet to come up to us, but the rest are all getting there. That's an alpaca hum.
There's your eye there. Look. That's my finger.
They're cute.
Funny noises. So, they're just gorgeous.
How many of them are there?
There's 6. She's got 6 males there, and they were doing really well. So as we chatted, they were coming up. They were eating my fingers and stuff. But if you need to feel good about something, go down and see the alpacas when they're open. They're not quite there yet. They're just leaving the alpacas at the moment just to get acclimatized. But
where do you go and get alpacas from?
Well, because I'd forgotten their origins, and I said, "Where do they come from?" Thinking she was going to say, Guatemala or something. And she said, "Manchester," and I went, "No, I meant where did they originate?" And then she said, "Peru," and of course it was. I get mixed up with llamas and alpacas. Don't llamas come from Peru as well?
So they breed them in Manchester?
Yeah, just down the back street. Yeah, no, they're just there's a farm close to Manchester. Obviously, I think there's quite a few farms, but I asked I was asking how much they were, and they're not horrendously expensive, but they're
Are they easy to keep though?
Well,
it's not something most people know.
The only problem with alpacas is that you need more than one. So you wouldn't buy one, you would buy 3, and then if one had a problem, you'd still got another 2. You cannot leave them on their own.
Oh.
That's partly what the
so
humming is all
they
about.
can't self-isolate or have social distancing.
No, they've had it, I'm afraid. But
they do look gorgeous. I need to go down and see them.
They are stunning, and of course, she is not the only one. Emma and Tom are not the only ones with alpacas. You can go down to Bellevue, and I'm sorry, I'm going to show you another video now. And this is one that we just got put together today of Bellevue, and it's really just this is what I'm saying to people now. If you need us to help with doing video or whatever, just let us know, and we'll get. I think we've sort of decided. Well, I haven't really discussed it with Heather that much, but we know the importance of getting the word out of what you're doing, no matter where you are and what you're doing. And I said to Ailsa, I was down there doing some video. and she's emailed one that she's had done already. But it's really important that we keep people, covered as much as possible at this time of year when we don't know how many tourists we're going to get. There's Aran Alpacas just coming up, and she's saying the alpacas are still doing brilliantly, so that's good. They are well worth just seeing. Take your whole, all your kids down and let them see them. But wait until
What do they eat?
Alpacas will tell you when they're open. They eat. Well, they've got bags of sort of desiccated grass, sort of half sort of green.
Because they're just babies. They're not. Yeah, they're going to grow a lot bigger than that.
They eat, and then they've got sort of a big, like a very large version of rabbit food, sort of grains and whatever else.
You can spin them. I mean, you can spin their wool.
I'll spin an alpaca.
No.
Like a basketball.
No, I'll get my spinning wheel out. No.
Oh, well, that one went sideways pretty quick. But anyway, I'm going to show you the Bellevue video now. This is a promotion video that they've got on Facebook, but they also have alpacas, and they are just about to start getting their lambs in as well. So here's Bellevue, just down the road. There's about 3 miles down the road from the Aran Alpacas. So that's very nice as well.
I was trying to figure out if that was Angora rabbits as well.
I don't know. There's a lot going on down there at the moment, but they're just getting ready for the season. So everyone's saying that with a bit of a tentative breath at the moment. But
is it open all the time? I mean, is it certain
they're doing one. I think
they
do one tour a day. I think it's about 1:30 in the afternoon, and so it's just really nice. They've got two different things. You've got the Aran Alpacas involved in just the alpacas down at Balmichael. They've got little areas outside you can sit. The farm is different. It takes you out on tours. You can see a working farm. You've got you've got all these animals. The two donkeys, Fergus and Hamish, and a bunch of sheep. One of which is called Peter, probably.
Peter.
Yeah, Peter the sheep. Yeah.
Strange name.
And some cattle, obviously. There's ducks, there's geese. Everything's just running around all over the place, including Donald at the moment, I think. But they're obviously just getting it all ready, and it's just one of those businesses that just if you want to do a nice afternoon, 4 or 5 hours in an afternoon, do them both. They're very close to each other, and you'll get to see the alpacas. They've got 3 female alpacas in there. Different colour altogether to the Aran ones. So
yeah, I was wondering when you said it was all males that were down at Michaelmas.
Yeah,
they're not going to have any hanky panky going on.
Well, not unless they go down to Bellevue on a night out.
Ooh,
it might happen.
Might.
Frogs do it. Alpacas could be able to do it, surely. Anyway, that was my little highlight of the week, and it was great just to see all these lovely animals, and took me back to my old farming days. Well, kind of. My uncle's got a farm.
It's good therapy, though. It is. The animals are just fabulous.
Now, Alison Page is saying, music matters not proceeding until further notice. Do we know what that's about?
Music Matters. Is that not a group where they get together and...
I don't know.
I'm not sure if it's a local
Alison,
one.
need some clarity on that one, please, if you can. Now, schools are not closing at the moment.
I think it's probably on the cards.
I've
all the other
spoken
ones,
to, I'm not even going to say whether they're teachers, supports or anything else, 2 people associated with the education business on the island, and they're both saying that it's probably going to happen. And if it does, it's likely, possibly likely, don't quote me on it, it's possibly likely that they will close the week before Easter and the week after, giving you that 4-week chunk. And I think that's what the news was last week.
Yeah, I think
regarding
so.
the English schools. I know there's all sorts of closures going on in Southern Ireland at the moment. I think they've just completely,
I read too that they're trying to put into place more childcare.
Yeah.
Obviously for people.
So it wouldn't be a surprise, and it's just difficult for parents then to get to get.
Do you think they'll make sure that the kids all have enough work for them?
Well, I would
will
like
children
to think,
actually do that?
I would like to think. I think they've been told. I think the teachers. This is again from one of my moles. That the teachers have been told to prepare stuff, but it depends on what year your kids are in as to whether it's important to get stuff prepared, or whether it's just going to be just regular stuff, some basic homework just to get home. But I would like to see the Facebook Live's here and nobody uses it on air and nobody's doing it, and I thought that's the ideal thing. Go tell the teachers to go into school.
Well, with internet now, you can
do a lesson.
You can do so much more. I mean, we cancelled. I was going to meet up with some musicians in Edinburgh in a couple of weeks' time, and we've decided not to.
Yeah.
But we're going to do rehearsals for a gig we've got coming up, if it's still there, by Skype. So there are ways round. You can still work.
Alison saying, right, the music hosted in Lamlash Church and folks come from Currydoon and Stronach, etc. So it's understandable that one has been cancelled. And tomorrow's Masonic meeting in Lumlash is also cancelled, so Cams says. So it's just the start of it, I think. And
I think so. I think more things are going to shut down. You're trying to work out different ways to make use of it.
Matter, I don't know. I run my own business on the island, as most of you know, and I would like to think that those of us who are renting, I'm not saying me, and especially because I've got other income other than the shop, which is well, I think we did 30 quid yesterday, and my wages for that day for Ingrid would have been double that, but I'm lucky. I can do design work when I can, but some businesses don't have that luxury and are set up purely to do one aspect of retail. Some pubs are the same. They just, that's it. That's all they've got is food and drink. And there's a lot of places like that. And I would like to think that landlords are beginning to look at the situation and think, well, what can we do to help? Reduce rents or just come up with some kind of.
I think they have to be a bit more flexible. Even Airbnb are being more flexible. There's lots of people are saying you have to accommodate this to a point. I mean, everybody's losing out, but you don't want to see businesses go down because of this. So it makes more sense. You're still going to have a tenant if you have.
If we carry on as we are at the moment, there's no doubt that there'll be some businesses suffering. So it's either a matter of.
I know.
If I were a landlord, I'd be thinking, right, well, it's either a matter of I do something to help that person, whether it's reduce the rent now and increase it later on, or just help them out in the short term by not charging them any rent, or if that was doable, or just offering some kind of package deal. I mean, as I say, I'm all right, but I think there are other people that are going to suffer who are renting premises.
I think a few of the landlords are not as considerate. They're not going to do that.
No,
so,
but we'll see what happens. But anyway. In my business itself, my lease is up in 2 years, and I've already sort of put the word out that I'm quite keen to curtail that early if possible. But so anyone wanting my property, come and speak to me. But the other thing with my property is because it's quite big and there's 2 levels to it. It might suit someone who has an idea to have half of it, and that's got to be. I think that's got to be. I just think
or a cooperative. I mean, it would suit something as a cooperative.
I think renting on Arran is becoming so expensive now that people are starting to think, well, I could go into that, but I'd need to go in with somebody else. And I think there's got to be a lot of flexibility there with landlords as well, that they can take 2 or 3 people in and make it more of a sort of community.
There are cooperatives already in existence on the island, and they work really well.
Yep.
So I think that's the way maybe people should start thinking. Then you don't have the whole rent to think about.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of thousand postcards coming this week. We put something on the community forum. I haven't got a picture of it actually, but it's a slightly satirical. What else from me? Postcard that I decided was needed to send to the government, the Scottish government, and I've got about 180 people wanting more than one. And they are pre-addressed to the right department in the Scottish Government. If you write to the Scottish Government, apparently they give you a written reply. So it'll be nice to see them getting 2,000 postcards. There's quite a cheeky picture on the front. It's the scrap heap challenge with both ferries stuck into the rusty parts of. But on the back of it, there's the space to write just a very short message. And I thought that was the nice way to do it, just to say, get the kids involved if they want. Just say, my school trip's was cancelled because of the ferry. It's going to be difficult at the moment with coronavirus getting in the way as well. But
this is affecting us doubly on the island.
Take away the coronavirus, and we've still got a ferry service which is not really fit for what we need. And so those postcards are coming up Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll put something out when they come up. But I know there's a lot of people waiting for them, and
they're all pre-addressed.
They're all pre-addressed. You just need to put a stamp on them and put a polite little message on. And there's also a space at the bottom to put your name and address. And I think you should sign it and put your name and address, and then you'll get a reply. And we'll see what comes back. And somebody, and I can't remember your name, sorry, but somebody did actually offer to pay for the second batch, which was very nice of them. So that's been sorted out as well.
And can they just pick them up from you? Just go to
they can pick them up from me. I'll try and get some into Brodick. I'll try and pick some shops that I think need a bit of support, so we'll get them into some shops, and people will distribute them whenever. Got a message here from Jenny Liz, just to let you know, from the school point of view, in my authority, teachers are being told to put lessons and resources for pupils onto Google Classroom. The kids all have personal logins for Google Classroom so that they can access the lessons for them from their own teachers. It's up to the pupils and their parents not to miss lessons.
Oh, that's good.
So there you go. I didn't know such a thing existed.
I'm out the loop with
Google
this now.
Classroom. Yeah, we're getting too old. We're going to need to self-isolate. Thanks, Jenny. That's helpful information. Do you want to do the you run through the Springfest. While we know Springfest is still going on.
Well, as far as we know, it's still going on, so that's great. And it's planned for this Saturday, 21st of March. Spaces are limited, but you can reserve it on Arran Springfest Facebook page. Oh, wow. These are lovely. They're really nice. Don't eat them all. This is at Balnichal, where the alpacas are. And it's hosted by EcoSavvy. So there'll be local food producers, food growing and planting activity, Chai Caddy and Mons Thai Kitchen. E-bike obstacle courses, free bike MOTs, Tesla tour.
What is a Tesla tour?
I'm not sure.
There's only one Tesla on the island, as far as I know.
Does anyone know what a Tesla tour is? Can they put up if you know what a Tesla tour is? Energy info and residence efficiency award acknowledgement. Water efficiency advice and free gadgets to help you save. That to save the water, yeah. Waste. Eco products, think about plastic information station, climate action, speak to Arran Schools Eco Committee. That's great. The school has an eco committee. That's really good.
Yeah, all the schools have been very involved in eco stuff and recycling.
So they're doing inspiring work in there. That's great. Mm-hmm. And entertainment, guest speakers, music, drinks, bar.
What?
Yeah, bar and more.
All right, that's me sorted.
Yeah. That sounds like a great day out, a fantastic day out. And is this a thing that's ticketed? You've got to have a ticket to go?
Yeah, there are so many tickets available. Obviously, I don't think they're wanting to get more than 500 people. I won't get anywhere near. Last time I went on, there was still 180 tickets left. So if you just do a search for Arran Springfest, which I don't have a logo for.
How much are the tickets? Are they expensive?
I don't know.
Does anyone know how much the tickets are?
How much are the tickets for Springfest? We don't know. Maybe Erin Alpacas will tell us if she knows.
I'm sure they'll do a family thing as well. I'm hoping they do that.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to go to that. I think
it's going to be a good day, and it's just nice to get down to a new venue as well again, because it hasn't been used, that place, for a long time, and it's starting to look quite good. They were just unloading another one of their log cabins, the ones that you like, the big round ones.
The Hobbit houses.
Yes, sorry, Emma, Tom.
Oh, they're wonderful, though. You wouldn't want to
Alright.
stay in a hobbit house.
Well, it depends if you're 6'1" or not. The USA has now added the UK to their list of countries in a travel ban for flights into the US. Well, I'm surprised that he didn't do that immediately, but then I'm never surprised about what Donald Trump does. But so no one's going to the US at the moment, and that's.
But there's a lot of empty planes coming back. Did you read that?
Yes, yeah.
You know, people are buying tickets for planes and they won't refund
America's-
them, but they're still
America's
flying
a big
them.
place because they can't find everybody and bring them back immediately. I mean, there's somebody who's just watching there from wherever it was. So so we're not stateside bound at the moment, and the big thing about this is that my news this week that I've been looking at, my personal stuff this week. Has been all about the stock market, and I know there's a lot of people on Aaron who have stock holdings, and I know that simply because my friend George, who works up at Investec in Glasgow, comes over quite regularly, and obviously it's been a brutal crash, this one, and it's strange that it's the first time that the stock market has crashed because it's not been financially based. It's been based on the fear of what's going on and what's coming up, and people who say,
So
"Oh,
it's
it doesn't."
panicking. People
It doesn't.
panicking.
Well, it is panicking to a point, but the interesting thing is the people that say, "Oh, it doesn't affect me. I don't have any shares and stocks." No, but you might not have an airline to go back on holiday with next year, and so it does affect everybody. And for those of us that have something in the stock market, it's been fairly brutal. And I had a call from George one night, he's a good friend of mine, and he said, "No, you'll just have to sit back and just ride it out." That's the advice, not just sell everything up, because it will come back. It's just this horrible bubble that we're in. And I did a kind of graph based on my understanding of what's going on, and all right, it's got a bit of humour in it as well. But normally the dark green ups and downs are what you would expect in the stock market. But what's happened is that we've gone cascading down into March. We've lost 30% off the FTSE 100, and it will not go back immediately. It won't be the reverse of this graph. It will be much more gentle. So it will take, in my view, from what little bit I know about the stock market, it's not just going to bounce back as soon as COVID is wiped out. There will be businesses that have to.
I was going to say this will be businesses that go down, or
that will have to readjust, and it will affect who's in. I think it will affect certainly who's in this FTSE 250, but the general feeling is that it will come back. It's just I've spoken to quite a few people on Aaron about it, and they're all going, "I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, and I've got my pension plans." Some people don't have any shares, but they'll have a pension plan that's linked to the stock market, and that all gets affected as well. So it's kind of grim times
for a lot of things.
It's a very scary.
Can I have another quick picture just of the alpacas to make me feel warm and fuzzy again after all that? Yeah, that's nice.
Is that just to give me the opportunity to take a big mouthful of hot cross bun?
No,
because
no.
I didn't do
No.
that. I thought you were just letting me.
No.
I
I'm
didn't
just
know.
looking out for the hot cross buns because they do look.
Those are
really
the
tasty.
ultimate ones.
They are.
The brioche. I don't know what you've done with the packet. Oh, have you screwed the packet up?
Oh, sorry, am I not allowed to screw the back
Well,
up?
unless you eat them all. Which
Oh, well,
for you
that
won't
could be a
problem.
plan. That could be a plan.
Yeah, these are the ultimate ones. Anyway, I think are we anything else that we want to put in? We've actually done a show without a guest for the average time, which I thought was pretty good.
I think that's it. Just,
think
I
we're
mean, I
done.
would say just stay positive, and there is a lot of stuff on Facebook, but keep in mind there are a lot of people that aren't on Facebook. So if you see something that you think might
Yep.
affect or help somebody, then maybe get in touch with them if you think they wouldn't know about it.
We'll stick this on YouTube as well later on. But if you do, I mean, I don't know how important our little production is, but it certainly won't do you any harm to send us stuff if you want us to mention it. I can get out a couple of days this week and get down to a few people and do interviews or do filming or whatever. So if it's just that in that small way, if that's helping to promote your business while you are struggling, and I don't think anyone can say they're doing well at the moment. So just let me know, and we shall make an attempt to do what we can. Other than that, let's hope that everyone stays safe and will be back next week. We have guests next week.
We have guests
We have
next
guests
week.
next week, so,
Yeah, good guests next week.
And we shall see what the situation is next week. But in the meantime, thank you very much for
Thank you.
joining us. And I've got to now find the credits, which I always lose. Oh, I don't know where I've put them. Maybe we haven't got. Did I not put the auto credits on? No, we're not.
Oh, I don't think we have.
No, let me just
You're
see
just
if I
going to
can.
have to disappear.
No, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to have to find it. Okay, here it is. Oh yeah, because I did this really cool one. Well, it's kind of cool. It's just, it's my humour. This is probably the last time we'll be able to be so satirical, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks very much. We'll see you soon.
Okay.